Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Ash and I am here with a review for the Karate Kid Street Rumble on Xbox. Now, this released on the 20th of the 9th, 2024, developed by Odaclick Game Studio and published by Game Mill Entertainment, who were kind enough to send me a copy for this review. So huge thank you to them for that. Now, this is a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up game basically set on the original Karate Kid trilogy of movies. If you don't know what they were big in the 80s, and it's about this boy called Daniel LaRusso. His mum moves around a lot with him, goes to school, gets bullied, ends up meeting a janitor called Mr. Miyagi, who basically trains him in karate, and he's able to sort of like defend himself against the bullies and win a karate tournament, get the girl, all that sort of stuff. It's a classic. It's obviously come back in recent years as Cobra Kai set in the future. And I quite enjoyed this game. I love side-scrolling beat-em-ups, Streets of Rage, and also recently we had like Turtle Shredder's Revenge, which was a fantastic sort of harken back to the classic games. There seems to be a big sort of push for all these retro-style beat-em-ups coming back, which is great. And this one is actually pretty decent. I had a lot of fun playing it. Now, it follows the plot of the first few films. Like I say, it'll go in order over a variety of different levels. Now, I think there's 12 full levels to play through, and I think there's 6 like mini-game thrown in between them. So I think there's like 18 full levels overall. Now, you can play this single player, or you can play it with up to 3 other friends on local co-op. And you can play as Mr. Miyagi, you can play as Daniel, you can play as Ali Mills, which is like the love interest, or you can play as Kumiko, who was a character from the second film. And you'll play your way through a variety of different environments, beating up just generic bullies and stuff like that, getting on to boss fights, and there's a good variety of environments to play through here, which I thought was really good. So I'll say the good stuff first. Graphics look really good. I like the detail in the character designs. The environments are nice. There's a good selection of enemies, and there's also just a good like retro-inspired soundtrack to it as well. Now, another thing I like is that you get to level up your characters. You get XP from completing levels at different sort of difficulties, getting different sort of leaderboard rankings and stuff like that, A, B, C, S, stuff like that. And this will unlock new moves for your character. Now, I like the progression in that game. However, it does mean you'll not have a lot of your abilities early in the game, so you'll be spamming a lot of the same stuff as you progress. Another thing I like is the amount of levels on offer. I like the cutscenes in between the games, and I like that it's not just fighting. There's also other things you've got to do in level, like you may have to destroy a barrier to get through. You may have like a time limit where you've got to get to a certain point before a timer runs out, and it just sort of mixes up the core gameplay aesthetic and the same gameplay loops to make it not like repetitive over and over again. Now, I also like that you can build up like your super meter, and you can also use it as like a block as well, which is nice. And there's also like missions to do in each level, as well as obviously getting the best score. Maybe it's like kill so many people with a certain attack, don't take any damage in a run and stuff like that. All that sort of stuff to give you a bit of replayability. Now, there are some negatives to this game. The general movement is a bit stiff. So like up, down, left and right, you end up missing a lot of the time, or you'll be facing the wrong direction when you're trying to hit people. Isn't ideal, I must admit. Also, like I say, for some people, not having all of the weapons and stuff available to you, attacks available to you straight out the bat, will mean it's a bit of a slog. And there's also no like weapons you can pick up. Like in Streets of Rage, you can knock someone who's got a baseball bat down and you can pick the baseball bat up and use it. You can't use that in this one. Obviously, that's to stay truthful to the films. You never saw Mr. Miyagi with a lead pipe beating people up. However, for a side-scrolling beat-em-up game, it means it's a little bit less exciting. There's a lot of breakable things in the environments. You can beat up boxes, crates, bags, bins, but they end up pretty much empty bar the odd bonsai tree pickup, which increases your like special bar, and your food pickups, which are for your health. Another thing that's a little bit annoying is the boss fights. They go on a little too long, especially on single player. They have way too much health and don't take that much damage, especially in the early game. And trying to use the dodge mechanic to not take a hit sometimes leaves you wide open. And like I say, you just spend a lot of time spamming. There's one early on, like I think one of the first bosses is like you're dodging a motorcycle, and all it does is come from one side of the screen to another, and it warns you have to jump up and kick him in the head. But you have to do this about 15 times to kill him, and that's it. So you just basically stood there jumping at the right time. There's nothing else to it. So it's not bad. It does get better the further you play and you get more into it. I love the like little mini games as well, where you have to do different little things, and you're like versing another character, which I thought was cool. So all in all, it's not terrible. It's just it just falls shy of being an amazing game, just because like odd little bits are just a little clunky. Now, it's still really enjoyable. It's interesting. The characters, I wouldn't say look particularly close to their movie counterparts. You can definitely tell Mr. Miyagi is Mr. Miyagi, but all of the others are a little bit more. I think they've took liberties on that. They probably don't have the character licenses for the real people, and that's a shame. But I did like the Halloween level where they're all in the Halloween costumes and stuff like that, chasing you. Is it for everyone? Probably not. But if you do like side-scrolling beat-em-ups, I would definitely check this one out. Now, on Xbox, it's Play Anywhere, so that means if you get a copy, you can play it on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S, obviously digitally. And it's optimised for Series X and S as well, and it's priced at $34.99. So, I feel like if you like arcade beat-em-up games, if you like the Karate Kid original trilogy, you'll probably get a kick out of this. I would like to see a bit more. There is a lot to the campaign, which is nice, but I'd like to see more playable characters in the future, and also just a bit of a tweak to the movement. It just feels a bit too stiff for a game where it's about turning round a lot and hitting people from both sides. But all in all, I had a blast playing it. But anyway, guys, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you soon for more gaming content. Thanks for watching.